I built a one-woman $1 million media empire with wine, gossip, and comedy, but I still ended up going bankrupt.
This is Pocket Watching with JT.
Hey, Pocket Watchers. I am certified financial planner Jayson Thornton, and this is the Bankruptcy Breakdown. This is where I react to the financial failures of your favorite celebrities and influencers so you can get the financial lesson without going through the trouble. Let's go, Pocket Watching. On this episode, I will be reacting to the bankruptcy filing of Tasha K. But before I dig into the numbers, let's give this woman her flowers. Latasha Kebe, better known as Tasha K, is a social media influencer, comedian, and celebrity news broadcaster. She has built a one-woman media empire based on wine, gossip, and comedy. Understand her YouTube channel has more than 1.3 million subscribers. She is not some ex-celebrity, someone you've seen on TV shows or the movie screens. She has built this thing from the ground up. During her live stream, she's able to pull in thousands of people with her comedic commentary, and she features exclusive interviews digging into celebrity scandals. But she's not limited to online. The woman is able to tour around the country, supported by her fans. And she was even able to prove that she can cross over into mainstream media when she was featured on Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out TV show. All right? But the question we should be asking ourselves is, how do we end up here? How do we end up on the bankruptcy breakdown? Well, Tasha K filed for bankruptcy protection on May the 25th, 2023 in the great state of Florida. The primary driver of this filing was a $3,863,753.47 defamation judgment that was awarded to rapper Cardi B. Now, after Tasha K attempted to appeal this judgment, it was denied, and Cardi B was free to go after her money. And that is exactly what she did. She began to garnish Tasha K's YouTube money. For those of you who are unaware, when you are a partner in the YouTube program, you are able to make money off of the commercials and ads that run on your content. And YouTube will issue you a payment once a month. Well, with this garnishment, the money did not go to Tasha K. The money went to Cardi B. That is a problem. So I believe that is why Tasha K filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now, for those of you who are also unaware of this, there are different types of bankruptcy. Most people, when they hear the word bankruptcy, they think of Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That is total liquidation bankruptcy. That is when the trustee, when the court takes control of your assets, sell them off, give your creditors, the people who you owe money to, as much money as possible, and whatever is left of the debt, that is dismissed. It's gone. It's discharged. You're able to have a fresh start. That is not the type of bankruptcy we are talking about today. Today, we are talking about Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This is a reorganization of debt. This is the type of bankruptcy you file to keep and stay in control of your assets while you work out a payment plan. Now, this payment plan normally lasts between 3 to 5 years, and that way you stay in control of your assets, right? And you're able to get everything worked out. Now, let's take a couple of steps back and kind of remind us how we got here. Based on news reports and the court documents that I have before me, it is stated that around April 2018, Tasha K began posting videos on her YouTube channel, Unwind with Tasha K, that featured Cardi B. Apparently, Cardi B was unhappy with these videos that were being posted on her channel. So in March of 2019, Cardi B officially files a defamation lawsuit against Tasha K. She was alleging that Tasha K was basically putting on a malicious campaign to damage her reputation. Now, Tasha K defended herself. She said that, this is not defamation. This is freedom of speech. The problem is this. January the 24th, 2022, the federal jury in the great state of Georgia disagreed with Tasha K and actually found that she was liable for defamation, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Even worse than that, the very next day, January the 25th, 2022, Cardi B was awarded roughly $3.9 million in damages. So that's where the debt came from. Okay, that's how we get to here. Now, let's talk about why filing this bankruptcy was actually probably the smartest thing for Tasha K to do based on the circumstance. When you file for bankruptcy, you normally get an automatic stay. What does that mean? That means you get an automatic pause button that the bankruptcy court press. That means anyone who you owe money to who is actively trying to collect on that debt, they have to stop what they're doing. Okay? At that time, Cardi B was actively collecting the YouTube revenue and she was pulling money out of Tasha K's Chase bank account. By filing this bankruptcy, she was able to get a stay, a pause on that negative collection activity. But what does this bankruptcy do? What happens? Well, you go from getting paid through a garnishment to getting paid through a court-ordered payment arrangement. See, the original garnishment was stopped when the bankruptcy was filed, but then the goal is through Chapter 11 bankruptcy is to replace that garnishment through a mandatory payment plan. So what happens? That means Cardi B is no longer taking the money from Tasha K. Tasha K is now giving the money to Cardi B through a structured payment plan that would be approved by the court. But here's the problem about this as well. It's not all rainbows for Tasha K with the bankruptcy payment plan, because if Tasha K misses just one payment with this new plan, the stay can be lifted and Cardi B can continue to take collection activity through Google, through her bank accounts, taking assets. She's able to do it. So you gotta be very careful and make sure that you keep up with these payments. Now, let's take a look at the income based on the bankruptcy filing. Tasha K reported that her monthly household income is $30,348.46 a month. Now, where is this money coming from? Well, Tasha K receives a monthly wages of about $3,320 a month. Those are her wages. The money that she gets from her income from her businesses is $9,850 a month. This is coming from rental property and her business operations. The bulk of the household income actually comes from her husband. Now, once again, this is based on the bankruptcy filing, okay? If the reality is something different, that's one thing. I'm talking about the bankruptcy. The bankruptcy is saying that her husband through his company, Yellen Entertainment, is bringing in $22,835.72 a month. That is good money. But now let's take a look at the expenses. Okay. The expenses are showing that she is having an outflow of cash of $22,908.78. What does that come to? How do we get there? Well, she says that our housing and rent is $5,367 a month. Her taxes are $4,750 a month. The mortgages on the investment property, $2,750 a month. Her child care and education, $1,991 a month. The food and housekeeping, $1,900 a month. Personal care, $1,691 a month. And her car payment, $1,062.78 a month. So where do we get this? Where are we ending up? Well, if we look at the cash flow breakdown, we have $30,348.46 a month. Our outflow is $22,908.78 a month. So that means she has left over at the end of every month. She has $7,439.68 a month. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, that's a lot of money that you're spending. But she's making enough money, right? The household is making enough money. That means she has $7,439.78 to pay her debts. The problem is the debt is extremely high, and about $7,500 a month is not going to get it done. Okay, let's take a look at the assets. Her assets are about $60,000, right? $58,595.56. That's her total assets that she reported based on the bankruptcy. Okay. What is that? Well, that's a 2021 Chevy truck, which is about what? Worth $46,750. That is a depreciating asset, right? Depreciating assets, things that go down in value after you buy them. Appreciating assets are things that go up in value after you buy them. All right. So she has this truck. She also has personal household items, which is around $11,750. That's normally depreciating. She has about less than $100 in a Chase checking account. Seems a bit odd, but okay. $95.56 in her Chase account. But she also has intellectual property, right? She had the trademark for Unwind with Tasha K, but in the bankruptcy is listed as unknown. She's not exactly sure what that trademark is worth, but she made sure to list it as an asset that she has. Now, I want you to notice something. What do we not see? And it is absolutely a trend in these bankruptcy breakdowns. What we do not see is traditional investment assets. We do not see stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. We don't see any of these things. Now, she reported a whole life insurance policy with USAA, but she listed the cash value at zero anyway. Once again, I'm going to say this over and over. Cash value life insurance is normally trash. Get term life insurance and invest the difference, all right? Unless you are in a specific situation where it makes sense, but the vast majority of us out here, it doesn't make sense. All right. So let's take a look at this debt. The debt, once again, $3,940,846.29. That is the total debt that she has. Now, that debt is broken up into three different categories. Number one, we have secured debt. Secured debt is $53,412. What is secure debt? Secure debt is things that have collateral, right? So specifically, we're talking about the Chevy truck. Now, notice she is upside down in this truck, right? The truck was worth about $46,000, I think we said a moment ago, but the debt is $53,412. Once again, this is a depreciating personal asset. Most of us should never buy a brand new car. Buy a used car, buy a cash car, because at the end of the day, you see it's not helping her whatsoever in her net worth because she is upside down in this vehicle, right? So we have our secured debt, debt that has collateral. Then we have priority unsecured debt. This debt does not have collateral, but it's a priority debt. We're talking about taxes, taxes that are owed to the IRS and the Georgia Department of Revenue. She owes about $126,573.31 to the federal and the state government for back taxes. The last category, the last group of debt is non-priority unsecured debt. This is the bulk of the debt. This is the $3,760,860 and what 98 cents, the 3.9 million basically judgment from Cardi B and some other consumer debt. That's what basically builds up this third debt. Now, let me explain what I think is going on here. Okay. The goal that Cardi B has with this initial filing is that she wants to enter into Chapter 11 bankruptcy, set up a payment plan based on the roughly $7,500 a month that she has. Over the next 3 to 5 years, she would be able to pay off the number one group, which is the secured debt. She'd probably be able to pay off the number two group, which is the priority unsecured debt. But then at the end of the 5-year period, whatever is left through the non-priority unsecured debt, which is the judgment to Cardi B, whatever is left would be discharged, right? That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do here, which is a very clever move. This is the initial plan attempt, right? With this Chapter 11 bankruptcy, she would be able to discharge the non-priority unsecured debt if she's able to make the full 5-year payments, which would pay off the truck and most likely pay off the IRS, or at least get them to a steady level, right? Here's the problem. Great plan, right? Great idea, but the law, at least the bankruptcy law, is not on her side. Here's the problem. Cardi B and her legal team filed an objection to this plan. Reason being is the debt that Tasha K owes to Cardi B is not the type of debt that you can discharge through bankruptcy. This is a debt that is based on a willful and malicious injury. Okay. That judgment found that Tasha K acted with actual malice in her defamation of Cardi B. You cannot simply wipe this type of debt away through bankruptcy. Another thing that Cardi B and her legal team brought up during this filing, they said, hey, Tasha K is hiding her assets. She's playing a shell game with these different LLCs and these different trusts. She's hiding her money offshore in different countries. So she should not be able to discharge this debt. Now, here's the craziest part, or at least one of the craziest parts of this bankruptcy. When Tasha K was accused of attempting or hiding her money, this is her response, right? This is her response. Now, clearly, this is Cardi B basically making the filing saying, hey, they are objecting to this bankruptcy plan, and they're saying this is not a debt that she should be able to discharge. Now, the reason why it failed is, once again, one, you cannot discharge this type of debt because it was based on a willful and malicious act. And two, it kind of looks like Tasha K was trying to hide her assets. Now, this was Tasha K's response to the accusation that she was trying to hide her assets. She claimed that the impending Cardi B judgment caused her to panic and make hasty decisions that she felt were necessary to protect her family and her children. So she's not saying she didn't do it. She's just saying that, because of the judgment and her love of her family and her kids, that is why she set up the offshore trust and all that other stuff. Now, she also said, "Hey, I was given bad financial advice." she said, "Hey, listen, she was misguided by an online company that convinced her that it would provide her with protection that a domestic trust cannot do." All right. So once again, she was scared, she was panicking, and she also got bad financial advice from an online company. Her other excuse was this. She said, "Hey, listen, even though I set up these entities and I set up these companies and I was thinking about hiding my assets, I didn't really do it. These these trusts, I only funded them with $10 each. I didn't set up any bank accounts in these entities' names. So even though I thought about it, I got these entities set up, I never actually did it." So that's the reasoning behind it. Basically admitting, listen, I set up these things, I wanted to do it, but nothing really happened. So let me go. All right. So at this point, and listen, I know it's a wild story. We're almost there. Just stay focused. At this point, Tasha K basically has two options. Option one, do nothing and let the bankruptcy be dismissed. If she does nothing and let the bankruptcy get dismissed, Cardi B is right back at her financial neck. She's going to be garnishing the YouTube checks. She's going to be in her bank accounts. She's going to be seeking to take things from her and get them sold so that she can get her money. That's clearly not something that Tasha K wants to happen. So her only other option is option B. Option B is she has to sit down at the negotiation table with Cardi B and her lawyers and basically let Cardi B dictate what the payment plan is going to be. And it looks like Tasha K went with option B. So what you see on the screen is the third amended Chapter 11 plan of reorganization for Tasha K. I want you to pay attention to the terms of this payment plan that Tasha K had to agree with, right? Stay focused here. Now, this is a 5-year payment plan. A 5-year payment plan where Tasha K is going to pay in year one $22,852.42 a month. Okay? A month. And this is the breakdown. The IRS is going to get $2,000 of that money each month. The state of Georgia is going to get $500 of that money each month. Ally Financial, the people, the car note, right? The car note, $1,071.42 a month. The attorney fees, $4,312 a month. Then there is basically Cardi B, because Cardi B represents 98.28% of the Class 2 debt. Cardi B gets $14,969 a month out of the $22,852. And it goes up every year. Every year it goes up. It goes from 22,000 to 26,000 to 27,000 to 28,000 to 28,000 again. Listen, it's crazy. Once again, these are the terms that were basically dictated by Cardi B. But it's not just financial. According to the plan, there is a non-disparagement clause in the plan. What does that mean? That means that Tasha K basically has a gag order. She is unable to talk bad about Cardi B in any way, shape, or form. Not just Cardi B, any family member. And we talk about family member, it goes into crazy detail. It talks about, listen, Cardi B, you can't talk about Cardi B, can't talk about her husband, can't talk about her siblings, can't talk about her parents, can't talk about her step parents, can't talk about her grandparents, her aunts, her uncles, her nieces, her nephews, her cousins. Now, it does say this, excluding any cousin more removed than a second cousin. Those apparently are okay. But she cannot talk about Cardi B or her family at all. Nowhere on her social media. Not her YouTube channels, nowhere. All right, now pay attention. It says that the debtor, Tasha K, shall ensure that no content related to Cardi B and or her family, whether explicitly or implicitly, will be published or sent out through any of her social media accounts, websites, blogs, blah, 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 right? Check what happens if Tasha K slips up. It says this provision remains in place for Tasha K for the duration of the bankruptcy. Failure to implement a timely cure, meaning if she accidentally slips up and she doesn't fix it in time, right, will constitute as a material breach of the plan and may result in additional legal remedies sought by Cardi B, including, without limitation, the legal right to seek dismissal of the bankruptcy and force her into Chapter 7 bankruptcy, meaning Tasha K will no longer be in control of her assets. The court will take control of her assets, sell them off, and pay off Cardi B. So if she slips up and she starts talking crazy about Cardi B again, it's all bad. Now, I want you to focus on all of the powers that this payment plan gives to Cardi B. All right. Power number one, the power of priority. The judge was able to make Cardi B the super priority in this payment plan. She gets paid like the IRS. That means Tasha K has to pay Cardi B the monthly payments before anybody else, right? It's the IRS, Tasha K. They are the number one people that must get paid. And you see how the payment is split up. It looks like to me that Tasha K is even above the IRS because she's getting way more money a month than the IRS is getting. All right. Another power, the gag order. Remember, this is a one-sided gag order. That means for Tasha K, she is legally barred from saying anything crazy about Cardi B or her family. But Cardi B does not have this restriction whatsoever. Cardi B can talk about the case, the debt, Tasha K, however she wants. And Tasha K cannot break her silence or try to fire back at her. If she does, then everything is off. The stay goes away and Cardi B can go after her assets. All right. She also has the power of oversight. That means that Tasha K is required to submit quarterly financial statements. That means every 3 months, she is giving Cardi B's attorneys her financial statements. She also has access to Tasha K's tax returns. Every year, Tasha K has to hand over copies of her tax returns to Cardi B's lawyers. She also has the power of examination under oath. That means that when she feels like it, when she thinks it's necessary, Cardi B can pull Tasha K into a courtroom, put her under oath, and ask her questions about her finances. And once again, if Tasha K lies under oath, that is perjury. That is a federal crime. This is a lot of power that Cardi B has. The last power is this. The debt is non-dischargeable. What does that mean? That means even after Tasha K pays the $1.2 million over the 5-year payment plan, Cardi B still has the right to pursue the remaining $1.7 million. So even when the payment plan is over and she pays off 1.2, Cardi B can still go after the 2.7. Nothing has changed. It doesn't go away. So Cardi B has all the power in this payment plan. Tasha K has absolutely no power in this payment plan. And that is why I believe that Tasha K has popped up with this GoFundMe campaign. She absolutely needs the assistance from the winos to get this anchor from around her neck. Now, at the time of this episode, it looks like 406 people have made a donation to the GoFundMe, and they have raised over $10,000. Looks like $10,076 has been raised through this GoFundMe. Now, understand this. March the 1st, we are in March right now. The second year of this plan goes into effect. That means that Cardi B is no longer going to receive $14,969 every single month from Tasha K. It's going to be stepped up to $18,635 starting this month. So it's going to be a little rough. It's going to be a little rough. Now, in year 3, that payment goes up to $19,168. Year 4, it goes up to $20,103. And in year 5, it goes up to $27,019 a month, going directly to Cardi B. And once again, even when it's all said and done, and if Tasha K is able to make every single payment, she does not default on this payment arrangement, Cardi B still gets to go after the other $2.7 million. So what is the lesson for this day, right? What is the lesson? Now, I talk about all the time my Pocket Watchers 7 money rules. What within the 7 money rules could have assisted Tasha K and kept her out of this issue? Number one, having a good understanding between the difference of the freedom of the press and defamation would have been extremely helpful. That has nothing to do with the Pocket Watcher 7 money rules. That is just basic how she could have avoided this issue. But what Tasha K attempted to do with the trust would have worked if she would have done it before she got in trouble. Yes, I'm talking about Pocket Watcher money rule number 7, estate planning, setting up protections of the wealth that you built. If Tasha K would have built up a simple estate plan where the assets would have been in the trust prior to getting into legal trouble with Tasha K, she would have been in a better position. The problem is that she did it out of order. After she got in trouble, she wanted to set up a local, domestic trust. She wanted to set up trusts overseas. She wanted to do all that stuff. You can't do it now because now it looks like you're trying to hide your assets. You have to be proactive and not reactive. That is why I'm trying to tell each and every one of you under the sound of my voice, if you are not in a strong financial position right now, go to my website, pocketwatcher.net. Learn about the 7 money rules. We talk about budgeting, emergency savings, debt planning, insurance planning, tax planning, wealth planning, and estate planning. And if you do not currently have a budget, if you do not currently have a debt payoff plan, you can go to the same website, pocketwatcher.net. Sign up for the Pocket Watcher financial planning app. And inside of that app, you can create your budget, you can create your debt payoff plan, and the Pocket Watcher 7 Money Rules is right there in the app. Also, if you have a personal finance question that you want the Pocket Watcher to answer, you can go to pocketwatcher.net, click the Ask JT button, fill out the form, and when I get time, I'll do the best I can to get you an answer. Now, this bankruptcy of Tasha K is still going on. As things develop, I will most likely do a part 2. But if you have another celebrity or influencer that you want the Pocket Watcher to review their bankruptcy, do a bankruptcy breakdown on an athlete, entertainer, actor, influencer, put their name down in the comments of this video. And when I get time, I'll add them to the list and I'll do the best I can to get you guys a video. Thanks for watching.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jayson Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.